I want will help the world to get better smiles. Yes, it is.
I was waiting for this so long.
This is your smile. This is you. Here are the problems. I am 100% sure that it will work. Okay, maybe 99.
Intrusion, extrusion, expansion. Can you share a little bit information about that?
You actually waste your time and the patient time.
Why not?
Now aligners are totally different what it was 15 years ago. But you know the patients. With Google, YouTube, internet, any other, do they need to do that? Yes, sure. 100% sure.
Let's get back to the business. მეგობრებო, მოგესალმებით. ჩემი სახელი არის ოლგა. და ეს არის ჩვენი რიგით მეოთხე ეპიზოდი ჩვენი სტომატოლოგიური პოდკასტის. და ჩვენი დღევანდელი პოდკასტი იქნება ოდნავ განსხვავებული. და იცით რატომ? იმიტომ რომ დღეს მე მყავს ექიმი ორთოდონტი უცხოეთიდან, ქალაქ რიგიდან, ლატვიიდან. და იდეაში განსხვავებული იქნება იმიტომ რომ ჩვენ დღეს ვისაუბრებთ ინგლისურ ენაზე, თუმცა რა თქმა უნდა, ჩვენ შემოგთავაზებთ ძალიან კარგ სინქრონულ თარგმანს. დავიწყოთ. Well, Dr. Maris, hello.
Hi.
First of all, I would like to thank you, and I would like to say that it's wonderful that you managed to visit Georgia with your lecture, by the way, which will expand even more on topics like aligners and digital dentistry. And before I ask you first question, I would like to say what I have found about you over the internet.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this.
That will be interesting.
You have a PhD. You are a master of orthodontics. You're a consulting orthodontist. You are an Invisalign key opinion leader in Europe and member of European Orthodontic Society. But wait, you're qualified as an Invisalign Diamond provider with an Apex status, which means that you are a member of the top 1% of Invisalign providers in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So, as far as I can see, you started on clinical side, but then you have started looking at the academic side as well. So, can you just share a little bit of information what led you on this journey of orthodontics, especially aligners and education as well?
Well, first of all, also greeting to our audience, and it is a pleasure for me to answer all the questions. And in this wonderful city of Georgia, Tbilisi, that I really like and I really enjoy. So, if we talk about my experience in orthodontics, then sure, as a dentistry student, I chose to do something more specific, more interesting for me, because the general dentistry, my thoughts was, maybe too simple, but maybe my arrogance at that time played good for me, because I chose orthodontics, and I think that actually that fulfills my dreams in this specialty. Why orthodontics? Because there were two options actually, prosthodontics or ortho. And mostly the doctors in my country who provide the prosthodontics are men. And women as well. But in orthodontics, at that time, there was only one. And maybe for me, it was like a challenge to be the next one. And more, maybe even better. But what I found for myself that what I really like about orthodontics, it's long-term planning. And this well-structured work, when you figure out in the beginning what you want to do, then leads you to better outcome. And I can say that, sure, every young doctor thinks that, yes, I will help the world to get better smiles. Yes, it is. It really is. But in the end of the day, it's also the way how I want to have money for my living. Yes. And these are my latest thoughts that I found out for me and myself, that maybe this altruistic way, like a medical specialty, you know, that everyone says, yes, I'm going into medicine, I want
did.
to help people. Yes, you really do. But yes, we live in the real world, and every one of us have our own lives, our families, and we want to just to have a better life. And my thought was that it really is, but the best way to do it is to provide a really good quality job so that you can sleep well in the end of the day. Well, my journey about aligners. As a young orthodontist, it was the beginning of 2012 when Align actually came to post-Soviet countries. In the beginning with the help of distributors and later by themselves. But this was something new, actually. But it looks like that it was new for us. Since Align has produced the aligners from 1997, I think. Yes, yeah, it was
one of the oldest companies.
Yes, and one of the oldest companies, really. Yeah. So in the aligners, it's actually nothing new anymore. But what I really like the approach, because in my experience, it was first time when I could plan the treatment plan, orthodontic treatment plan, digitally. And that was something like, wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And as a young one, you see it from my gray hair now. But back then I was younger.
Okay.
So, and that was something that actually really changed the way what I thought about orthodontics. Actually, it changed the whole mindset, how it could be. Because the difference was that you actually could see what you want to achieve in the end. And I think that was this digitally driven planning that was actually what excited me from first hand. And then years ago have passed, and so the also technology evolved itself, and it became more and more sophisticated. And what when I think now, when I look back, that actually I had a very great opportunity to grow with it. And that's why for me now, I understand how the software works, how it works biomechanically, and also that for now, when I treated almost about 4,000 patients. So I got my experience, and now I know what I can do and what I cannot do now. Maybe in the future, but for now, I have more clearly thoughts and ideas about how to provide more effective treatment. Because, you know, I think mostly when we talk about orthodontic treatment, it's time. It's long period of time. And I know that the patient get exhausted from that. So, and what I found for me, and also from feedback of my patient, that yeah, this treatment should be more effective, that we can achieve the result as fast as possible. Because, you know, our life is fast now.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are always in lack of time.
The rhythm is
yes,
different.
And everyone wants to have now and
yesterday.
maybe now, maybe yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why it push you to the limits that you need to figure out what is the best treatment option for that patient.
Okay.
So, and I really like now to combine maybe some different techniques to achieve this effectiveness.
Okay, with the premise of the questions and following your conversation about planning in software, I think that we have to know what is predictable in orthodontics with fixed appliances, with other appliances as well. And based on this, can you please tell us, is the treatment with Invisalign in particular is more predictable than braces, and which movements are predictable, more predictable, which are less predictable, like intrusion, extrusion, expansion? Can you share a little bit information about that?
Well, sure, I can share it, but also every doctor can find it on the PubMed data search base. There's a lot of scientific articles now, and I think it's a good way to also understand that there are some limitations, and we need to be aware of them. If we talk about predictability, that if you look in the scientific papers now, that, for example, it says that predictability with aligners, it's about 50% only.
50?
50,
Really?
right, yeah, right. But I think that we need to actually look at these papers very critically and also understand that actually what we are planning in the software. We are planning the position of the tooth. But for the doctor, it is more actually worth to plan not only the position of the tooth, but also the biomechanics, how this tooth gonna move there. So, and I think that actually this is a basic approach to every treatment, is to know biomechanics. Because in the software you can plan whatever you want. It doesn't take physiology or some other limitations that are actually in the patient's mouth, and you need to know that. It's the same as with braces also. Braces by themselves, they don't straighten the teeth and they don't put the teeth in the perfect occlusion.
It's different biomechanics.
It's a totally different biomechanics, as we know. So the braces as like an open system, then the aligners are totally opposite. It's a closed system. So
What do you mean by open and closed?
So the closed aligner itself, it limits the movement of the tooth. So basically, yeah, if we compare fixed appliances like braces with aligners, then if we put a wire in the braces, it like pull the teeth out, and straighten them, align them, and all the torques, angulations, in-outs, and everything else, there is programmed in the bracket itself, and the wire executes these programmed features. But with aligners, it's a totally different story, because that's why maybe you need to use more IPR in aligner cases, because this is like restricted area. So and you need to think about how you gain space for the tooth movement. So I'm not saying that every aligner treatment should be executed only with IPR, no. But sometimes what I think mostly orthodontists are afraid about round tripping. But it is a normal part of biomechanics. It also should be done. And then you will gain more and more predictable results with that, and more stable results.
Okay, you spoke about the software. You mean ClinCheck, right?
Yes.
As far as I understand, ClinCheck is a representation of which teeth you, as a doctor, are going to be pushed by you. And if something goes beyond predictability, do you use some kind of appliances, like maybe elastics, or you can change everything in software?
Well, if we talk about software, actually what we see is like representation of the teeth. Why is that? Because it's easier to interact with the patient. Because patients, they understand the teeth.
Okay.
Actually, if we can compare and throw some analogy here, as like in the movie Matrix. Yeah, you should see textures a little bit different. So what I see, I don't see the teeth on the software. I see how aligner shape is changing. Actually, that is what you're planning, and that's why the doctor should see this treatment plan in the software from that side. To explain to the patient how the teeth gonna look like, yes, it's a perfect way to actually show them. Because for the patient, it doesn't matter what the torque is or interincisal angle. And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because the whole physics and mathematics is now in the software. But it could be like visually shown to the patient in more easier way.
So it means that the patient can see his like final result or something like that, right?
Yes, yes, it's
outcome
like a great tool for the doctor to explain to the patient. And that's what I'm using now to show the patient also all these new features what are in available in a clean check with the CBCT integration. Because now it's easier to explain for the patient, for example, where we need to extract teeth. Because if I show him only the teeth, they're straight, yeah, that's fine. Now I put the bone in it, and I see that the roots are sticking out. And I know from my experience and also from all the scientific papers that, yes, we will end up with some recession of the gum, and it's not good. So that's why this actually I would say that our decisions about the extraction of the tooth, it is then easily explained to the patient what is why it's necessary, why it's mandatory.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will do more harm to the patient than the treatment
I
itself.
can see. You mentioned this number, 50%. And I have to clarify.
Yeah.
You mean 50% of the predictable outcome with the treatment with the liners, or you're just comparing with braces? And here I would like to ask you the second question. What are the main advantages or the differences between aligners and braces?
So, let's start with this 50%.
Yeah.
What you mentioned. So, it doesn't mean that the effectiveness is almost only the half of what it is compared to braces. No, here we are talking about the predictability, and the study was done between the design, let's say clean check, and the outcome. So the tooth movement measurement about it. So, and it means that if you know the numbers, for example, and there are also this, as I mentioned, this 50%. It's not an overall for every tooth movement. It's a little bit different.
Not for every
case.
Yes,
that's right. But if you know that, that's why it's a scientific paper that gives to us some perspective what we actually are doing.
Sure.
And it means that if you know this information, that when you plan the tooth movement,
you're armed.
Yeah, you're armed, and you know that, and you're already warned about some difficult movements when you need to think about. That's what I mentioned to you. That's not the final position of the teeth; it's the way how the teeth gonna move in the mouth. So that's why you can add a little bit more movement and make it more predictable when you want this tooth to see in the end. So that is a difference. With with braces, yeah, we know it's a fixed appliance. Why it works? Because it's non-compliance appliance for the patient. It's fixed. Aligners, they're removable, and also it is like additional part of this whole treatment is also the compliance of the patient. What's actually, I think, also makes big difference when we talk about the final outcome. So now I say to my patient, when it's 22 hours a day, it's 22 hours a day, not less. Then it works. If you only put them during the night, we won't finish that the way how we planned. So. And this is like additional part when the doctor and the staff of the clinic should work with the patient to motivate him. So, and as you understand now, that's what I talked about, the efficiency of the treatment. So if you put a patient for 3 years on this regimen, or she's on this protocol, then yes, maybe the outcome won't be how you planned.
Understand.
So be honest to you, be honest to your patients. So.
Okay, so then what are the main differences between aligners and braces? Like maybe 3 main,
3 main differences.
differences.
Okay, so yes, sure. I won't say that I'm against braces. No, as an orthodontist, I am aware of a lot of appliances that are available in the orthodontic field. But for example, there are some different movements that, for example, for braces are easy and for aligners are more difficult, and vice versa. So, so I think that if we can use the both positive sides of appliances, that's what provides this effective treatment. As a little example, for aligner, the rotated tooth, for example, 60 or 70 degrees, it's really hard to rotate that tooth. With aligners, it would take about only 60 aligners to rotate that tooth, and to achieve perfect tracking, it's also a difficult part. Sometimes it's easier to do some pre-treatment with the fixed appliances to solve these problems, but from the
to solve it faster.
To solve that movement faster, or some extrusion of the canine that is really high, then it is easier to do with the fixed appliances, because, as I mentioned, it pulls the tooth. For aligner as a closed system, it's very difficult movement. It's also achievable, but maybe it would take more time. And then you solve this problem, for example, in this case, with some partial fixed appliance, you will solve it much easier, faster, and then the whole treatment will be shorter. But then you can easily switch to aligner treatment for in cases, for example, when we need to intrude some tooth. It works perfectly with aligners. If we need to do some expansion also in the dental arch, I mean dental, not skeletal, but dental one, well, we can also use aligners. And you see, now I figure it out for myself that the appliances is just the way how to move the teeth. But from the quality of life perspective, sure, with removable appliance, it's
easier.
It's much easier, much easier to maintain the hygiene, to actually eat what we are doing basically at least 3 times a day.
Watching a nice movie in cinema and eating a popcorn. You
so
can just
remove
those aligners and that's it.
That's right. So and this is a part. So when you need to think like, how am I going to help my patient to achieve the most effective treatment, and not to actually make some disruption or some inconvenience in his life. So that's basically the part.
So in the end, it's about doctor. It's about how professional he is, or maybe how he knows exactly to work with those kind of appliances, fixed or
well,
removable.
Olga, I would say that everything is about doctor. That's why you're a specialist in that field. And you need to explain to the patient the most effective way how you can help him. So it's I don't really like the idea when the patient is saying, "Oh, I want to do only like that." So could you imagine that to say to cardio surgeon? No way, because the doctor knows.
No.
So and yes, it's a little bit different field of dentistry. It's more about aesthetics nowadays and so on. But I think the part of the doctor is to educate the patient, actually, and to say them and to be honest to them that what will work better in this case. And then maybe we go to another question: if can we solve all the cases with aligners? No. Can we solve all the cases with braces? No. we need to use some auxiliary device also for some super complex cases. And it's totally okay. But you as a doctor, you need to explain it to the patient. And also, first of all, as a doctor, you need to plan the treatment. And I heard it a lot. So when we talk about the clean check, the CAD designer planned me the case, and I don't like it. Yeah, it's not the CAD designer's work. He only moves the teeth in the position where when you ask him to do it. It's a technician, that's right. You as a doctor, you need to figure out it is realistic, first of all. It is achievable with appliance. And only then you can say, okay, I'm 100% sure that it will work. Okay, maybe 99, to be honest. But it's your decision as a doctor. That's actually why you're getting paid for your knowledge. And then, if it's removable appliance, yes, it's a really hard work to motivate the patient to wear them exactly how it's prescribed.
Look, following this conversation, I've got several questions. And the first question is that when I was in your clinic in Riga, I was quite impressed by internal processes. What I mean, you have a treatment coordinator. You have a very nice team of managers. And the question is, you said that you, as a doctor, you have to describe whole process to a patient. Who in your clinic is doing this job, you or the treatment coordinator? Well,
if we talk about the whole organization process in the clinic, then sure. In the beginning, I did everything by myself. But then, the more patient you get, then you need to delegate your work. Yes, and otherwise, it cannot be in the future like you want to be. So every doctor wants to have more free time.
Yes, exactly. And you want to grow as a business, by the way.
Also, that's also the other part of it. And then everything what comes to the clinical part, it is explained by me. Because I know the way how we're gonna treat the patient. I can explain him what kind of appliance do we need to use to achieve this result. But then comes this part about hygiene, about motivation. I did it by myself before, but now it's like, for example, it's a treatment coordinator part. And also part of the assistant who actually sees the patient on every appointment, basically. And yes, you need to have some time to educate your team. Then you have more free time to do your actual work, what is planning, and treatment itself. So you need to lead this treatment. Assistants can help you to make this simple procedures that are done manually. You can educate.
What about placing the attachments? How is it in your country?
Yes, so in our country, the assistant can do it. So sure, under the supervision of the orthodontist, that's for sure. But if we talk about attachment, yes, there is nothing that the assistant can do wrong because there is a template for that.
Great.
It is already planned, and you can place them only in that way that it was planned.
Yeah, the first couple of aligners. And what about the scanning patient? As far as I know, you have 2 or 3 scanners.
Now four already.
Crazy. The last one is Lumina.
Yes.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes, really. I really enjoy it. So I think because for the patient to show this realistic scan, it's something that
with a full face, visualization, right?
With visualization. So, but maybe if we talk about this real color scanning, some patients are afraid a little bit because they didn't see that their teeth in that way. But it's okay to explain them that everything is fine, and we can solve this problem in the future if you're not satisfied with the color of your tooth. So you can use bleaching and so on.
Sure.
Yeah, that's like additional part that you can explain to the patient. Maybe he wasn't aware of it.
Exactly. So what is the process? Let's imagine that the patient comes into the clinic.
Yes. So
how do you start all this? processes?
Okay, I need to describe the whole process. Okay,
No, just in short, because I think my doctors, my Georgian doctors, are interested in those kind of experiences which are abroad.
Well, what can I say? Yeah, actually, also this patient's journey, this also was developed through the time. In the beginning, always I was the first one who actually took the patient to the chair, so we started the conversation and so on. But now we changed it a little bit, and now the treatment coordinator actually is the person who is responsible for to bring the patient to the chair, to get much information as possible about the needs and demands and so on. And then the treatment coordinators makes the scanning.
It comes before your consultation, right?
Yes,
Before your appointment.
They take this frontal picture with the smile of the patient, then they use some X-ray or it depends, but normally it's orthopan tomograph. So, and then after all this information is gathered, then the treatment coordinator invites me to this consulting room, and then we actually start to think about what we want to achieve in the end, basically. And that's why I always ask the patient what are his demands or her demands about what he wants to see.
Waiting for?
Actually, yes. What are chief complaints, let's say. And then after that, when I answered the question about the chief complaints, then I can explain also what I see that also could be done, what could be done better, where we can, for example, not only straighten teeth, we can reshape the form of the tooth and so on, and it will take also additional part from some other colleagues for like interdisciplinary treatment. And that is what makes the difference. That if you can visually show the patient the possible end result, then they start to see their smile totally different.
And more motivated.
Yes.
And this is what iTero gives you, right? The iTero outcome simulation is the tool which is very nice for...
Yeah, I can talk about it as days long, but what I actually want to know for the doctors, also and the patients, the scanner, it's not an impression-taking device. Like we did before with casts. Yes, yeah. It's. I compare it to smartphone now. So because you use your phone not only now for calling, or
by the way,
send some short message or
very
something
nice
like that. Yes, it's about the apps. What are in the smartphone, and with the scanner is exactly the same. There are different apps that are built in, and these apps, they're helping you actually to have this really meaningful conversation with the patient about their needs. It's about them. You know that nowadays, and also my quality director, Liga, is also saying to me, talk about the patients more. So now we changed totally our first appointment consultation. Now I focus only on the patient. So this is your smile, this is you. Here are the problems. This is what I'm talking about, only about you, because you came here to solve your problems, not to hear my lecture about orthodontics.
That's right.
It's about you. And then when everything is said and shown, and on the second appointment, when we meet together and then we discuss the treatment plan, now I can educate you about orthodontics. It's also a more efficient time management, because it's
psychology. You know?
Also, and it's in the first appointment I don't need to actually explain the whole orthodontic process, because it's a lot of information, and that's everything what I said. It's about maybe 10%. The patient will remember that,
will understand.
Will understand, and then you actually waste your time. your time and the patient time.
Nice.
But it's better in the first appointment to actually to focus on the problem of the patient. And as I mentioned, iTero with his apps actually is useful, and it helps me to concentrate on these things.
Because you show patient his,
Yes.
his result and his full face visualization.
You see it. This is actually the difference, that the face changes everything. It's not about just straight teeth. It's about your face, because you cannot imagine smile without teeth. You can imagine, but it looks horrible. But here, if you put the patient smile, not some average statistical, his face, and then you can really show the difference.
You'll be surprised.
Yes, that's what actually makes the difference. I can take.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's get back to the business. Okay, as far as I know, one of the moments doctors shy away from aligners is deep bites. Is it right to be concerned with deep bite patients, or has something changed in generations such that deep bites are becoming more predictable to treat with aligners? Keeping in mind that we know that many of these deep bite patients and cases deliver intrusion.
Well, if we talk about deep bites, really the key point here is, if we want to solve it, is biomechanics. What we want to achieve and how we're gonna achieve it. Aligner by itself won't treat that. The doctor is in charge who's gonna do that. And then you need to plan actually what kind of deep bite it is. It is more like skeletal deep bite or dental deep bite. You need to differentiate it. And then you know the right appliance to solve it. If this case, for example, is an adult, comes with a severe deep bite, then you, as an orthodontist, you understand that without a surgery, you cannot solve it, and you don't need to lie to yourself that I will do it, because the software will show you you can do it, but the software also will warn you about some difficult movements. For example, in a clean check, there are blue or black dots there for this treatment movement assessment. And then you need to figure out, so, okay, I should be very careful here. Maybe I need to choose some different auxiliary appliance for that, or some different techniques to solve it. Because the software already warns me it's difficult. It's based on the statistical analysis of the cases that were treated before. And doctors should be aware of it. If we talk about deep bites in teenagers, there's some growing in there, and then you can, let's say, modify the growing. That's a very popular term. But basically, with proper biomechanics, you can solve this case.
With aligners.
Also with aligners, yes. And what we know now about the predictable intrusion, it's about 1 to 2 millimeters. And if it's enough to solve this, then it's okay. You can do it. If you need more, then you need to think about some other technique. And also, especially with the deep bites, that is work for the doctor, the work with the software, where sometimes you need to over-engineer it. For the patient, this case will look horrible, like an open bite in the clean check. But as your doctor, you know that since we're talking about Invisalign, it's like a force-driven appliance, not a displacement appliance. That means that you actually are planning the forces that gonna work on the tooth. And maybe in the clean check it will look like a little bit like, for example, reverse curve of SPI-wire in the braces. It's totally curved, but we know we're expecting that we won't end up in the open bite. So actually we are programming the forces. And that's why also we need to explain it to the patient while we are doing that. It's You see, Olga, there's a really interaction part between doctor and the patient. Here, when we talk about this education, you need to explain why you're doing that, why these clean checks look like that. It's not your final tooth position, it's the forces actually. And you need to be aware how it works. Maybe at some point you need to stop when it comes over what you planned, and basically you just rescan the teeth, and then you start the planning from this point, and it's okay. But deep bite could be solved. But it depends on the case, what the problem is.
What is your personal experience with the treatment with Invisalign, speaking about period? What is the shortest one and longest one?
Well, the shortest one, it would surely be like express version with 7 aligners.
What about period?
It's a 7 week, yeah.
Is it 7 weeks? Okay.
Yeah, 7 week treatment,
3
yeah,
months,
but
yeah.
it's really some minor teeth movement. The longest one, sure. I can tell you that, and I'm not afraid now to also talk about my mistakes. So in the beginning, when I thought, okay, yeah, that was going to be easy case, but we ended up with 5-year treatment. It wasn't so easy, but you need to see the things more clearly, more realistic, and then you won't end up with these long treatments. So you need to be honest for yourself. You need to be educated in that field. You need to read articles, and then I think that's basically as we talk about the average time of the treatment, orthodontic treatment, we need to end up in 1.5 years. Yeah, 1.5 to 2, yes, for really complex cases. But why are they complex? They are complex when you're trying to solve them only with one appliance. It goes for braces too, and aligners. So as a very good saying, if you have a hammer, then all the problems are nails. And that's why it's up to you. Then you need to have a right tool to solve it, and then the complex case becomes not that complex. Becomes more easier, and then you can really solve it in 1.5 and 2 years.
Yeah, it's interesting because we hear some rumors saying that now Invisalign is the treatment that requires much more time, despite the fact that sometimes it is even faster. Yeah, depending on a patient motivation, on this 20 or 22 hours per day, etc., etc.
And the way how you plan the teeth movement, and that's I think is a key part of it. So I don't blame the appliance, or I don't blame the technician. I blame myself, because I am in charge, who actually can see that how the process will go, how realistic the movements are that I actually programmed. Because if there is like a cartoon with super results, but it's not based on the scientific part, then we will end up that, yes, it doesn't work. But if you plan everything properly, then everything will
Again,
work fine.
it's about doctor.
It's always about doctor.
What about the number of visits, like during the treatment with Invisalign, with aligners?
Yeah. So if we talk about this mid-treatment visits, then sure, there is a difference between fixed appliances. Let's say I call it like a dynamic treatment, that when you see the patient, then you see what happens in mouth, then you need to adjust the wire or rebond and replace some bracket and so on. But with Invisalign, the difference is that you already planned your treatment to the end. And now you just observe what you are planning. So, and it depends from you that how often you want to see that patient. Sure, it's totally okay to see your patient, for example, every 6 weeks, like with fixed appliance. But in the 6 weeks, if you actually you will see the right movement of the teeth, you will shake the hand of the patient. Yeah, you will ask him how his family is going, and everything is fine, and that's it. So maybe there is no need in that, but sure, if you in a very good relation with your patient, you can also invite him more often. But for the treatment, there is no need in that. Okay. And also with Invisalign, there is some virtual care feature that the patient can photograph their teeth.
Itself. And
itself. It's said to you, and then you can monitor the treatment. It was developed during the COVID, and now it's like also a very helpful feature for the patient who live in abroad.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And also for the patients who are living in the same city as you are, but they're really busy. And I think it's a really good way to monitor. But the most important part for the doctor, it's included in the treatment.
Okay, so what are the Invisalign aligners advantages over other aligners? As far as I know, you have an experience with different systems. So what's your point of view?
I think the first thing, the disclaimer is Invisalign speaker. Sure. I will talk only about the Invisalign.
Yes.
And what I really like is I like to speak about good things, not about what the competitors don't have, or the things with the way they're not that good comparing to Invisalign. I really like to speak about actually the best things that I can get with Invisalign. For me, first of all, it's the whole workflow, the whole ecosystem that are built in my clinic, and it's easy for me to manage. Then the software that I know how it works, and it's really sophisticated one. Believe me, this software it's ahead of its time. A short example of it, very known Excel of Microsoft. It's really, that's a really complicated software. I think that it was developed by the physicists and mathematicians.
And this is why it is quite simple for me, but okay.
But we only use the sheets, and we maybe make some sum or divide or to multiply something. But that's it. But it's really more complicated. It's a really great statistical tool for some really complex cases. But if we talk about orthodontics and about the CleanCheck software, then it's also really complicated, because they are all complicated in good way, I would say, because there are a lot of features that will help the doctor to understand what he's doing, and really precise one with all degrees and millimeters and so on. And you should be aware of what you're planning. So the software itself will tell you that it's realistic or not, because you can compare the beginning and what you have planned. You can superimpose, and you will see and what we are doing. We assessing with our eyes. It looks okay. Then I know for sure, that it probably will work. And if I see some fantastic movie about how teeth are moving from super crowded position and they are straight, and some narrow arch becomes very wide, it's like fairy tale, but it won't happen in real life. Okay. So that's why it's I think really helpful with this software to understand and assess what you're doing.
Okay, I can see. Then, in what cases aligners do not work? Where is the limit? Let's touch a little bit on this.
Okay, so the limit always is that aligner needs to grab a tooth, basically. Then it will work. Impacted canines. Can aligner grab that tooth? No. Can this case be treated with aligners? Yes. Because you need to use auxiliary devices. And I think that Dr. Greco will talk about it a lot.
Sure, let's say that we have a conference and
tomorrow.
We invited a very nice lecturer, Dr. Alessandro Mario Greco. So
So, and I really know from his lectures that he's working a lot with aligners and also some auxiliary devices, TADs and so on. You see that if you want to solve something complex, you need to think how to solve it. And maybe sometimes it's not enough only with one appliance, because it would take years, or even you won't finish that way how you want it. But if you use some auxiliaries, an example is exactly like with fixed appliances. Not only with braces with TADs, braces with other appliances, and so on. And here is the same. It's like a tool how you gonna achieve the movement of the tooth. But you need to plan how you're gonna, for example, pull that impacted canine, bring it in the mouth, then bring it in the dental alveolar arch. So it's gonna look like. I think that is the part. So, and what could be another example where aligners doesn't work? For me, it's only in toothless mouth.
Okay, then, I have a question. I would like to take this opportunity and ask you this question. Should a beginner doctor, orthodontist, start working with aligners, or he has to have some experience with braces? I totally understand that we are speaking about different biomechanics.
Yes.
But can a doctor, beginner, start working with Invisalign?
Well, I can tell you that first of all, doctor needs to know biomechanics. Because for the tooth movement is the same. But the difference would be with appliance, how it works on that tooth. And in my opinion, especially the young doctors, they need to use as more appliances as possible, because then they will get experience how it works. But sure, properly they don't need to experiment on the patient, but they need to know how this appliance works, where are the limits, and then yes, try it.
Why not?
Sure, absolutely, because that's the learning curve. Otherwise, it won't be the day that, okay, I worked 10 years with braces, now I'm ready for aligners. No. You need to do it simultaneously.
Let's look forward to
You need to do
progress.
it simultaneously, yes, because now it's available, and now aligners are totally different what it was 15 years ago. 15, 20 years ago, it was really just for minor cases, also because of the material and so on, and about some limitation knowledge, attachment design, and so on. But now we already have, it is 27, 20, now it's going to be the 28 years of it.
Really?
So
it means that it's easier to get more information, knowledge.
You see, this amount of knowledge now is amount of experience is much bigger than 15 years ago, and now you can get information so easily with Google, YouTube, internet, any other software, homepage or forums and so on. So doctors should seek this information, search this information, and I think it's up to them. But I would say that if do they need to do that? Yes, sure, 100% sure. So just to be aware what happens actually in orthodontics at all.
Okay, I can see. Well, speaking about trying, I have heard that sometimes there is a fear of orthodontic treatment in adulthood. The patient comes and he's trying to get an aesthetic restorations, but at the same time, sometimes he doesn't understand that he needs to get proper occlusion. So what's your point of view on this? How do you work with this kind of patients?
Well, actually, that's a good question, because tomorrow I will speak about that especially.
Okay.
But what can I comment now that, especially with adult patients, that in most of cases they're afraid of braces. Because I'm not that young anymore to wear braces. And so, okay, that's good. So can we do it with aligners? If I can say 100% for sure that yes, we can do it, yes, we can do it. But here we come back to the CleanCheck software. And product that is available now, the Smile Architect. It is a really good combination of how orthodontic treatment can be led by the prosthodontic treatment and vice versa. And there is a really good feature like a mass analysis to show the patient. So, for example, I don't want to straighten my teeth, I just want to get my crowns now. And you can show the patient the amount of the tooth what the prosthodontist will remove and maybe also devitalize the tooth because of that, only if you want to do it now. But if we can solve this problem by moving the teeth in the right position, they still will be vital, and then you will get your restoration treatment as in the best way as it possible. So I think that is actually the matter of fact that you once again educate the patient about it. Because I really like the prosthodontics who are sending their patients to the orthodontist first.
It's good.
Because they want to sleep at night very well, and they know that to solve this case, maybe I just need to do some adjustments, and that's it. And there's also another point where this treatment should not be long. Because these patients are coming for aesthetics now. If this treatment could be completed in 4-6 months, it's okay. Maybe even a year, it's also okay for them. If you start to talk to them, to educate them, then they totally understand it. But the outcome and also this biological price will be less than we just drill the teeth and then put a crown on it. So
yeah, usually adults are coming like with this, with this feeling that I was waiting for this so long. I want to have a beautiful smile. And then a doctor, prosthodontist, is saying that, look, you need to make some adjustments. Go to another doctor. And this doctor is saying that, okay, you need to wait for I don't know, 1 year, 2 years. And, this patient is crazy. Come on, guys. I would like to have just beautiful smile. And this is why they have some fear. Yeah. Okay, if you don't mind, I would like to shoot another popular question. What is the minimum treatment age for Invisalign?
Well, the minimum treatment age, in my experience, the patient is only 6 years old. But
okay, so it's good.
Yeah, but for that you also need to meet some criteria. There should be some permanent teeth already in the mouth. That means at least the frontal incisors, the first molars, and at least 2/3 of the lateral incisors should be. But maybe if there's no place for lateral incisor at that time, it is a really good time to start to gain some space for the teeth. Maybe this deciduous tooth was extracted too early and so on, and some space maintainer wasn't placed. So you can solve these problems with Invisalign first, and it is easily done. With children especially.
But what about those 20 and 22 hours per day? Because, when you're 60 years old, 7 and 80 years old, you just sometimes forget about this. But I know that e-aligners have this color indication or something like that, right?
Yes. So that was my thought also in the beginning. How could we manage to keep them 22 hours? But what I really found out that the children, so if we talk about Invisalign first, the children till 10 years, then actually they're really good.
They enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's a culture.
the teenagers are more rebel. So children till 10, they're really cooperating with their parents, and the parents were coming and they're motivated about this treatment. They're really helping their kids also, and yes, this. Compliance indicator is also possible that could be integrated in the aligner, and then the doctor can be sure that it was aligner was worked very well. And also, I think beautiful parts for Invisalign first for the children, there are also removable stickers.
Oh yeah, I know that. I've seen it on Instagram.
And they can change it. So they change the aligner every week, and they can put some new stickers every week, get some new smileys or whatever it is. So
It's about culture.
also, and make this treatment more fun.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so I really like this idea. Just also that the children are entertained with that. And if we talk about this longevity of the treatment, also here we don't need to exaggerate it with the first phase on the mixed dentition. Do the necessary work what could be done. You need to maintain to achieve more space. Do it. You need to expand a little bit if this for example, arch is too narrow, but more like dentally narrow, then you can use the aligners. It will work very well by expanding. And also the new product, if you want to expand it skeletally, but with removable one, there's a palatal expander. That's an absolutely new feature, 3D printed, customized appliance. It works also very well. So recently, just two days ago, I had a patient who was afraid about rapid maxillary expanders that was shown to her. She needs to wear that. And no, I don't want to wear this butterfly, the iron butterfly. And so we started the treatment with this one, with removable. But once again, we need to talk a lot with parents about the motivation, about the wearing time, and so on. And sure, it will work.
Okay. Then what comes after the treatment? Like retainers, and what do you think about the fixed one or the removable one?
Well, I really like the idea about removable one. Why? Because I placed a lot of fixed retainers. It could last for 10 years, 15, also 20. But you know the patients, they want to live their life. And sometimes if there's some hard food and you're on your beautiful vacation on some island and your retainers come off.
You're speaking about vacations in such a good way that I think you need a vacation.
I will.
Okay.
I came here to Georgia. It's already vacation.
Well, I don't think so. We have lots of meetings and we have a conference, etc.
I know, but it's like a kind of. But anyway, if we talk about the fixed retainers, yes, sure. Some patients are saying, okay, can we put the fixed retainer and we don't need removable one? Basically, if you move all the teeth, then you need to retain them, especially in the beginning. And if this was something with expansion, then it's mandatory. And once again, education overall. You need to explain it to the patient why it's necessary. Because even with the fixed retainer, if you don't wear a removable one, the teeth would be also getting crooked. Anyway, because it's a mechanics, what happens in mouth. Yes, as an orthodontist, we need to achieve this stable position of the teeth, stable occlusion, so it will like maintain itself. But anyway, this removable retainer, in my opinion, is much more better. Yes, it take this compliance from you that you need to wear it, but it also gives you the freedom.
It's okay. You can wear it at night.
That's right. You wear it
You're
only nights, and then you have freedom during all the rest of the time. It's I always try to speak with teenagers about that, and I say to them that's really the good opportunity to show your parents how adult you are. So you take responsibility of it. Okay. So the freedom comes always with responsibility. And now there are some cases where I really want to place removable retainer, for example, some big diastema on the frontal region, or some really, it was super crowded teeth, rotated teeth, and I just want to put them in place. So I will place this fixed retainer for, I don't know, 2 years or maybe, and then I will remove it, yes. And also, if we talk about Invisalign, I offer also Vivera retainers that are produced from special materials. You already get 3 removable retainers for upper and lower jaw that are exactly the same. If something happens with it, you don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to run to your doctor immediately that day. You have take just another pair of retainers and wear them. I think it's also very convenient. I'm looking at papers, I'm looking at research, and I know for sure that there is actually no scientific proof in that.
What do you think about this?
How actually the jaw is functioning.
Should a doctor extract 8?
As an evidence-based doctor, you need to do that because they will look horrible.
Oh, who do you recommend?
I don't know how these guys are doing that, but it's really incredible.
No fear, right? Now you have no fear.